It started with a coffee stain, not the kind that ruins your shirt or the kind that dries in the bottom of a forgotten mug. No, this one was on a hotel receipt, faded, wrinkled, and shoved deep in the pocket of Jake's coat. Jake, my husband. We'd been married 7 years. We were what people called stable. Not wild, not passionate, comfortable. We split chores. We paid bills on time. We kissed goodbye every morning. And sometimes on good days, we texted each other just because. I thought that meant something. I found the receipt while doing laundry. It slipped out of his blazer as I was about to throw it in the machine. I bent down, picked it up, and unfolded it. Hotel Cambria, Seattle. Room 719. 2 guests, 3 nights. My heart didn't immediately drop. It paused, froze, and then started beating again, just a bit faster. Jake had told me he was in Portland those 3 days, some tech workshop, he said. He even texted me a photo of the conference room. And now here I was, holding evidence that he was over 150 miles north in Seattle, at a hotel with someone. I stared at the receipt for a long time. My mind wanted to explain it away. Maybe it was a booking mistake. Maybe his colleague stayed in the same room. But then I saw the date. Last month. The same weekend I called him crying because my aunt had just died. He hadn't picked up until the next morning. Said he crashed early from a long day. That's when the chill set in. I didn't confront him that night. I placed the receipt in a small envelope, slid it into a drawer under my socks, and said nothing. But I watched him. Jake wasn't acting strange. That was the worst part. He didn't come home late, didn't suddenly care more about his looks, didn't hide his phone like you see in those cheesy affair TikToks. He still kissed me on the forehead, still asked me how work was, still laughed at my awful attempts to cook Thai food. But now everything felt like performance. Every gesture, every word, it felt rehearsed, calculated. I decided I wouldn't ask him anything yet. I needed to know more. I needed to be sure. So I made a plan. The next time he had a business trip, I'd follow him. It didn't take long. 2 weeks later, over dinner, Jake casually dropped it. Next Thursday, he said while swirling pasta on his fork, I've got a client meeting in Denver. I'll be gone 2 nights. Denver? I asked. He nodded. Same usual spot. Sheraton near the airport. I smiled, said, okay, and that was it. But inside, my stomach twisted like a wrung-out towel. Thursday came. I told Jake I had picked up extra shifts at the hospital and wouldn't be home much either. I kissed him goodbye at 6 a.m. He wheeled his suitcase to the Uber, waved, and was gone. I called in sick. I waited an hour, then grabbed my overnight bag, got in my car, and started driving. Not to Denver, but to the airport. I didn't even have a boarding pass. I just sat in the parking structure with a coffee and binoculars I'd borrowed from my neighbor. I knew how it sounded. Crazy. Unhinged. But I wasn't ready to confront him with just a receipt and a hunch. I needed more. Around 8:10 a.m. I saw him. Blue blazer, duffel bag, Starbucks cup. Smiling, not alone. He was walking with her. Tall, brunette, elegant. She wore black sunglasses and heels too high for an airport. Her hand touched his elbow as they talked. They weren't lovers in public, but they weren't co-workers either. He held the door for her as they entered Terminal C. I didn't follow them in. I didn't need to. I'd seen enough. Instead, I waited until the flight departures updated. There was only one destination from Terminal C boarding in the next 30 minutes. Seattle, of course. He wasn't even clever enough to pick a new city. I drove home. My hands shook the whole way. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just sat in the kitchen for hours staring at the photo I had secretly snapped of him and the woman. My fingers hovered over the phone, tempted to text it to him with a single word. Why? But I didn't. Not yet. Because something inside me shifted that day, not just hurt, not just betrayal. It was deeper than that. I realized I didn't just want to catch him. I wanted him to feel what it was like to live in doubt. I wanted him to wonder what I knew, to squirm, to question every word I said. I wanted to flip the game. So I played along. When he came home 2 days later, I hugged him, told him I missed him, listened to his fake stories about Denver traffic and awful hotel food. and he believed I believed him. But while he unpacked, I opened my laptop and I created a new email address. Because if he could lie, so could I, and if he had secrets, I'd have my own. It was time to find out everything: who she was, how long it had been going on, and what else he was hiding. And maybe, just maybe, I'd decide what to do next. I never thought I'd be the kind of woman who snoops. But by Monday, I had already tracked down her name. It wasn't hard. A reverse image search of the blurry photo I took at the airport led me to her Instagram, then LinkedIn. Her name was Vanessa Hale, a freelance UX designer based out of Seattle. According to her feed, she loved wine, yoga, and weekend getaways, and apparently, married men. Most of her photos were of sunsets, cats, and lattes, but one post made my stomach churn. It was a picture of her wine glass on a hotel balcony. The caption read, "Sometimes you just need to get away with someone who gets you." The location tag, Hotel Cambria, Seattle. Same room, same weekend as Jake's tech workshop. So I started writing it all down, every detail, every lie, every timestamp. It felt like building a case in court, because part of me still didn't want to believe it. But the other part, the part that stayed up at night replaying conversations in my head, she wanted blood. I started noticing more things. Jake's work trips always coincided with Vanessa's getaways. When he told me he was going to Chicago, she posted a photo of a hotel room in the same city, with a man's hand barely visible on the edge of the frame. When he said he had a retreat in Phoenix, she posted desert landscapes and a shadow of two people holding hands. He wasn't even trying to hide it. That enraged me the most. He thought I was too naive, too trusting, too comfortable to notice. So I gave him what he expected. I cooked dinner, laughed at his dumb jokes, acted sleepy during his late night texts. But during the day, I became someone else. I read forums about infidelity. I messaged a woman who ran a blog called The Other Wife. She told me, "Don't confront until you have everything, otherwise he'll twist it." So I waited, and while I waited, I planned. That weekend, Jake left his laptop open. He was in the shower, and I knew I had maybe 3 minutes max. I wasn't proud of it, but I did it anyway. His email was open, and so was his inbox. He had a folder called Conference Materials. Harmless name. But inside, dozens of flight confirmations, hotel bookings, restaurant reservations. None of them matched the stories he told me. He wasn't flying to Denver that week. He had booked 2 nights at the Maxwell Hotel in Seattle. Again, Vanessa was tagged in a local gallery event that same weekend. I checked the date. It aligned perfectly. This wasn't a fling. This was a pattern. He loved her, or at least something close enough to it. I closed the laptop just as the water shut off, heart pounding, hands shaking. That night, I couldn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling, wondering how long I'd been living with a stranger. Did he ever love me? Or was I just convenient? By Sunday morning, I knew I couldn't take it anymore. I had to see her, not to fight, not to scream. I just needed to look her in the eye, to see what kind of woman helped tear apart someone else's life and slept like a baby afterward. So I did something I never imagined I'd do. I messaged her, "Hi, I think we have someone in common. Want to meet for coffee?" She didn't reply right away. Hours passed. I stared at my phone so long it felt like it was burning my palm. Then, around 7 p.m., a reply came. "I think I know who you are. 11 a.m. tomorrow, June's Cafe. Don't bring him. No emojis, no emotion. Just a time, place, and a warning." The next morning, I wore a plain black sweater and no makeup. I didn't want to impress anyone. I just wanted truth. June's Cafe was small, quiet. They played jazz and served overpriced chai. I ordered nothing, just sat at a corner table and waited. At 11:07, she walked in. Vanessa was prettier in person. Her hair was tied back. She wore a green coat and looked calm, not guilty, just centered. She sat down across from me like we were old friends. "I'm assuming you're Rachel," she said. I nodded. For a moment, we just stared at each other. And then she said something I didn't expect. You deserve better, and so do I. Vanessa didn't cry, didn't fidget, didn't look ashamed. She just stared into her coffee, then looked at me and said calmly, I didn't know about you at first. That word, first, hit me harder than I expected. So, when did you find out? I asked, my voice more tired than angry. She hesitated. Not because she was unsure, but because she was measuring her answer. 3 months ago, I saw a notification pop up on his phone, a calendar alert, anniversary dinner with Rachel. I asked who you were. He said, you were his sister. I blinked. That wasn't even clever. That was lazy. And you believed that? She gave a small laugh. At first, yeah. I mean, the way he talks, he's charming, but I could tell something was off. So I checked his wallet while he was asleep, found a picture of you both, and the truth snapped into place like glass. There was a pause. Then she added, but by then I was already in love with him. I wanted to hate her, but strangely I didn't. Maybe because she looked just as wrecked as I felt. So why stay? I asked. Why keep seeing him? She sighed. Because he promised he was leaving you, said your marriage was dead, said you were cold, distant, that you slept in separate rooms. I laughed bitterly. We literally just booked a vacation to Italy 2 months ago. She raised an eyebrow. He told me you refused to travel, that you hated flying. I shook my head. I've been to Tokyo, alone. We sat in silence. The cafe bustled around us, but our corner felt like a void. I'm not here to fight you, I said quietly. I needed to see who he risked everything for. Vanessa looked at me, eyes steady. Same. That's when I realized something. We weren't enemies. We were both victims of the same lie. I pulled out my phone and showed her the hotel receipt. She showed me a screenshot of his text, one saying, You're the only one who makes me feel real. Rachel and I haven't touched each other in months. That one stung. Not because it was true, it wasn't, but because he was rewriting our life so easily. To her, I was a shadow, a burden. To me, he was a liar, a man with 2 passports to 2 lives. I followed him once, I admitted. She looked at me in surprise. When? Last week, to the airport. He told me he was going to Denver. Her eyes widened. I met him at the gate, she whispered. We flew to Seattle together. The timeline snapped. Everything lined up. No more guesses. He had planned to deceive both of us. He had told 2 different women 2 different lies and boarded a plane with one while the other watched from a car window. That image, the moment I saw them walking into Terminal C, came back to me. The blazer, the coffee cup, the way she touched his arm. How long has it been going on? I asked. She checked her phone. First date was 10 months ago. 10 months, almost a full year. I thought about the parties we went to, the Christmas gifts, the nights we spent watching Netflix in bed. How many of those nights had been stolen? How many of my memories were built on nothing? I should leave him, I whispered. You should, Vanessa said, and so should I. And for a moment, there was clarity. We both had the power to ruin him. Not out of vengeance, though that was tempting, but out of principle. To stop the cycle. Would you help me? I asked suddenly. Vanessa tilted her head. With what? Exposing him. She leaned back, thoughtful. What did you have in mind? The plan came together faster than I thought. We created a fake Instagram account, one that looked like a travel influencer. We followed Jake, liked a few of his photos, commented on a couple with emojis. He followed back. Vanessa started DMing him from that account, pretending to be someone new. It didn't take long. After just 3 days of flirting, he responded with, Maybe I need to come to Miami and see that smile in person. He didn't mention me, didn't mention Vanessa, didn't even hesitate. By the end of the week, he had sent a shirtless selfie. Vanessa and I just stared at the phone screen. He's sick, she said flatly. No, I corrected, he's stupid. Because what he didn't know, what he couldn't know, was that we were saving everything: screenshots, messages, voice notes, even the receipts. I wasn't just going to leave him, I was going to make sure he never did this to another woman again. The confrontation didn't happen like I imagined. No drama, no shouting. Just a quiet Sunday, Jake making coffee, and me watching him like I'd never seen him before. I opened my laptop and turned the screen toward him. "It's your Instagram DMS," I said, "from Maya, the woman you wanted to visit in Miami." He froze, then forced a laugh. "Wait, what? Babe, that's not even—" "Don't lie." I cut him off. "I know everything. Seattle, Phoenix, Vanessa, the fake calendar invites, the hotels, your messages, even the selfie." He tried to play calm. "Okay, yes, I messed up. I was confused." "For a year?" I asked. He stepped closer. "Rachel, please, it didn't mean anything. I felt stuck. I needed something that made me feel alive." "You mean someone else to lie to?" "I didn't want to hurt you," he said, "but you did." Then I hit him with the truth. "I met Vanessa." His face changed. "You what?" "She didn't know about me, and when she found out, she left you just like that." He started pacing. "You went behind my back, spying on me?" "You cheated on me." That stopped him. "I want you out," I said. "Today." "You're throwing everything away?" "Number." "You did that. I'm just finishing it." He didn't argue. He packed his bag and left without another word. When the door closed, I broke down. Not because I missed him, but because I had stayed for so long. Later, I texted Vanessa. "He's gone?" She replied, "Same. You okay?" "Not yet, but I will be." I deleted it. Because the truth is, he didn't lose us, he gave us up. 3 months passed. The apartment was quiet now. No more toothbrush left beside mine. No more running late from meetings. No more Jake. At first, the silence felt loud, unbearable. I'd catch myself setting 2 plates for dinner, texting someone who wasn't there. But day by day, that phantom weight lifted. I got a haircut, changed the furniture, started taking long walks with no destination. I didn't want to fix the past, I wanted to rebuild the present. One afternoon, while scrolling aimlessly through my emails, I found a flight confirmation Jake had booked before everything fell apart. A round trip to Mexico. 2 tickets. I stared at the screen, realizing he had planned a beach getaway with Vanessa while still living under my roof. That moment didn't hurt anymore. It felt distant, like watching someone else's story. Still, I canceled the ticket. He didn't deserve paradise. I started therapy. Vanessa and I exchanged a few texts, short but supportive. We didn't become friends. We didn't need to. We were two survivors of the same storm, now walking in separate sunshine. One evening, my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost declined, but something made me answer. It was Jake's mother. She'd heard we split. Her voice was soft. "I always liked you more," she said. I smiled politely and thanked her. After that, I deleted Jake's number completely. Not because I hated him, but because I no longer needed anything from that chapter. Healing didn't come all at once. It came in fragments. A good night's sleep, a laugh with a friend, a day I didn't think about him, and then another. One night, I was walking home from a bookstore when I heard someone call my name. I turned, and there he was. Jake. Thinner, tired-looking, hands in his pockets like a boy in trouble. I froze. He smiled, unsure. "Hey, Rachel." My heart didn't race. I wasn't afraid, just curious. "Hi. You look good," he said. "You don't," I replied without malice. He gave a dry laugh. "Fair." There was a pause. "I've been meaning to reach out, but I figured you blocked me." I did. He nodded. "I deserved it." Another silence. Then quietly, "I lost everything. Work's a mess. Vanessa won't speak to me, and you—" He trailed off. "I know you don't owe me anything, but I wanted to say I'm sorry. Not for what I did, because there's no fixing that, but for who I became." I looked at him for a long time. There was no fire inside me anymore, no anger, no pain, just peace. "Thank you," I said. He looked surprised. "Really?" "Yeah, I needed to hear it. Not for you, for me." He stepped back, nodded, and said, "I hope you find someone better." I already have, I said with a smile. Me. I walked away without looking back. The wind was cold, but I felt warm, strong, free. That night, I lit a candle, poured a glass of wine, and opened a fresh journal. On the first page, I wrote, "This is where the story begins."